Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Homebrew Buffoonery on my homebrew journey. Right, just before we get into all the nonsense, I will just direct your attention here, which is a Rosette. It's meant to be bronze coloured, but it's not, it's gold. And it's my award for my Czech Amber lager, which is what I'm going to brew today. But I have a couple of other things to show you. Well, I've got one main thing to show you really, and one thing about the fermentation that I'll go through. But I'm doing Czech Amber lager, and what I've got today is instead of using my thermometer, I've got an Inkbird, which is just down there. I'll show you that in a sec. And I'm going to use that to control the temperature because it's digital and it's better. And it may even lead into some electric-y sort of nonsense later on. And then I'm not going to put, when I'm done, I'm not going to put my wort into fermenters, into demijohns, glass demijohns. I'm going to leave it in the boil kettle, and I'm not quite sure I'm going to cover it up properly and all that sort of rubbish, but I'm going to leave it in a boil kettle and see what happens. And I'm right interested about that because the Czech Amber lager that I'm doing, it tends to be done in open fermenters. So I'm thinking if I just cover it over maybe with an old filter that I've got and just put the lid on the boil kettle, that might be enough, and we'll see how it goes. So it might be a complete waste of time, but again I might get some of this. So let's have a quick look at the Inkbird Temperature Controller, and then we'll get back into all the grains and hops and yeast and all the nonsense of the brew day. Right, so here's the old Inkbird, and what it is, it plugs into the wall over here, but that's the digital temperature for the probe that is, I don't know if you can see, there's a little wire running around the back, and it just goes into the back behind that clothes peg there, and it's sitting on the mesh screen at the bottom of my brew kettle. So currently it's at 57.5 degrees. I'm waiting for it to get 64. I've got my little burner on, just warming it up, and for a thermometer, you know, it's alright. This bit here is the temperature, the set temperature, and there's all sorts of nonsense that you need to do, but it links to a simple plug, double plug there. So if it's cold, you put a heating element onto this plug, and then if you're in a fridge or something like that, you can put the fridge plug into there, and the Inkbird will control it, all the temperature to within like 1 or 2 degrees depending on what you set it at. But I'm going to use it just as a thermometer today, so that's it, perfectly clearly explained, isn't it? Well, let's get on with the old brew day then. Okay, so on the brewer's friend for my Czech Amber lager, here's the recipe for it. It's quite a complicated one. It's the most complicated one I've done. I've got 1.3 kilos of Pilsner malt, 350 grams of Vienna malt, 100 grams of Crystal 60, 100 grams of Crystal 150, 125 grams of wheat malt, and another 100 grams of flaked oats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bung all that into 9 litres of water there, with sort of 8 grams of that phosphate acid buffer thing to keep the pH right, although I should really get the pH meter. And then hops wise, to get it into style, to get me minimum style is 20 IBUs, I needed 20 grams of SARS. So 1 gram of SARS is 1 IBU in 9 litres of water. So I've got 20 grams in there, and then I'm going to mash at 64 degrees for 60 minutes, and I'm going to use my K97 yeast. At least I think I might have enough of it left. If not, I'll have to use something else, but I'll keep you informed on that, because I've just thought of that now. Anything else? So here's me stats then. I've done me hops. Here's me stats then. So OG is 1048 with a final gravity of 1008, so hopefully quite dry. ABV of 5.3, IBU's 20, which is bang on the low end of the scale, and SRMs are 12. The colours are 12, which is banging style. So we'll just get a nice sort of coppery, ambery looking beer. So we're almost at 70 degrees now on the old Inkbird. I'll give it another couple of degrees, and then I'll start to mash in, and we'll get on with the day. I'll see you in a little bit for a bit more of a waffle. Right, so I don't know if you can see, I started off at 72 degrees and it's now, with all the grain in, it's gone down to 69 degrees. So there's no heat in it. I'm just going to leave it like this now, wait for it to get to 64 and then see if we can keep it at 64 with my little burner. Okay, so we're finally at 66 degrees and we're 30 minutes in, and I've just taken a refractometer reading and we're at 10:31. So I'm going to start my recirculation, really slow, and if it gets down to 64, that's when I'm going to fire it, but I think I might have done it wrong. But, you know, we'll start the pump and see how it goes. Okay, pump is on. Everything seems to be going okay. Yay. Okay, so that's the sponge done, what it was, and at the end of the mash, before I put the 6 litres of water in, it was at 1050 odd-ish, something. I didn't take much attention to it, but it is now at, and I'm looking for a pre-boil gravity according to Brew's Friend of 1036, it is now 1034, so that's not too bad, and we'll get it boiling. We'll boil it to the target gravity, which was 1048-ish, and then I'm going to leave it in there, cool it down, leave her in there, and I'm going to pitch. I've got 1/3 of a packet of K97, and I've got 1/3 of a packet of WB06. So I'm going to mix the two up and see what happens. I'm just going to leave it open. I'm not going to put an airlock on it or anything. I'm just going to put an old filter over it. And let's get on with the old boil. Okay, so boil is done. We're at 10:48 bang on, spot on numbers. Had to boil for 1 hour and 15. Forgot to put whirl flock in, so I did another 15 minutes with my whirl flock in it. And all I'm going to do now is get it cooled down, and then I'm going to cover her over with that, which is my old filter bag. I'm going to put it over the top. I'm going to tie it on somehow. I'm going to put the lid on there, like that. I'm going to bung her understairs and see how we get on. I'll trick her with the Inkbird as well a little bit later on, see how the temperature is. Okay, so we're now down at 20 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm leaving that in there, leaving the wort in there as it is. And I've got half a packet of K97, German ale yeast, Belgian tight wheat beers, and then WB06, which is wheat beer, so specialists for wheat beer fermentation. It might go horrifically wrong, but you know, it's a bit of an experiment. You know, it's a nice big pot. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to tip the whole lot in, tip them all in, like that. There we go, that's probably too much. And then, I've got my little filter, I'm going to put her over there like that. I'm going to tie her on, spray her with some Star San, and then put her upstairs in that there brewery and put a lid on. Upstairs and leave her, see how she goes. Bit of an open fermentation. So there we go. That's the old brew day done. It's red hot outside, roasting hot. I'm going to go and sit in the garden now with one of my few wheat beers that I've got left, my Boozer Shures. And well, there you go. So, you know, as always, you can like and subscribe to the Homebrew journey. Come on, more than 12 followers. And you can leave a comment if you want, especially about the open fermentation, which is going to be right interesting. And yeah, this is my Czech Amber lager. I'm going to call it Twinkles Rosette because I won a Rosette for it with a similar recipe last time. So Twinkles Rosette, there you go. Brew day over. Like, subscribe, comment, all that rubbish. And why don't you go out and brew something award-winning?